Ladies and gentlemen, peace, love, and positivity to you. My name is Sohum, and today I'm going to be doing a reaction to Mural by Lupe Fiasco. In addition, I'm also going to attempt to lyrically analyze everything that we hear today. Attempt being the operative word because Lupe is a word chef, Michelin stars. This dude is insane. And I remember doing a reaction to Lupe a while back, so I have made attempts at understanding his music, and it isn't the most, let's say, attainable on a first pass, but I will do my best. And for me, it's always exciting to check out the work of an amazing lyrical rapper in Lupe. Back when I was young, I thought I listened to a lot of difficult to comprehend music. I loved my lyrical rap, and anytime I would understand the meaning of a song, it would feel good. I would get that hit of dopamine, and I feel like Lupe, he makes you work for it, and every single lyric is just filled to the brim with dense meaning. So I'm excited to check this out today. I think the way we're going to attempt this song here is by having a first pass, just listening to everything with minimal pausing, and then later, hopefully a bit of it is digested, and then I will go line by line here. So I'm excited to check this out, but before we do, a special thank you to Mateus the Polite for the donation request and selection today. With all that said, I'm excited to check this out, so let's jump in. Wish me luck. I'm sure you guys know what I'm in for. I have no idea. Whoa. Yeah, those notes are up there. I'm not sure, is this a sample? Reminds me of a Vinny Pez song. I'm not remembering which.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice piano melody.
Mural chemicals, vitamins and minerals, and Vicodin within the tubes wrapped around the arm. To see the vein like a chicken on the bond. Top cat chat, let's begin another yawn. Let's flying sausage cheese, or is it chicken palm? But roosters don't fly like boosters don't buy. So what powers cowards to get them to the top? Just to fall asleep, listen in the Bach. The ribbon in the sky is the ribbon that I drop. Dribbling the eye across the prism of a clock that lacks meaning, but racks up stacks of fat reading to catch chief and wrapped up plants from trap dealings. Now what's the coffin?
Oh, it's so dense. I gotta pull it back some.
Don't fly like boosters don't buy. So what powers cowards to get them to the top? Just to fall asleep, listen in the Bach. The ribbon in the sky is the ribbon that I drop. Dribbling the eye across the prism of a clock that lacks meaning, but racks up stacks of fat reading to catch chief and wrapped up plants from trap dealings. Now what's the coffin with a scratch ceiling? And what's the talking without the match feeling? That's berry living and cherry picking every lemon from your berry system, then proceed with the pack feeding. When I was young, I had visions of another world, sneaking looks at the porn stash of my brother Hurl. Incense smoke made vortices and other curls, casting calls for porn films and ads.
Vortices. This is not a word I've ever heard before. I have to look this up. Vortices. A mass of whirling fluid or air. Oh, so the plural of vortex. That's the first time for me.
Space for rubber girls. I like my pancakes cutting swirls. Moroccan moles and undercover squirrels. I like cartoons, southern cities with large moons. Faith healers, ex-female drug dealers, and art booms. Apologize for my weird mix. What tastes like hot dogs and tear drips, and looks like pantomime and clear bricks. and smells like shotguns and deer piss. They on they hunt, kinda salty that I'm going hard. First part of a party that I throw in pods. 1 minute you playing pool, next
and like we're gonna digest the lyrics, but also all of the wordplay, all of the actual like what is the word, alliterations, all of the almost like complex rhyme schemes, I believe it's called, where you have multiple syllables across different word patterns that all fluidly come together in an ABC almost rhyme scheme, and then the word maps onto the other word or phrase. Oh my goodness, it is so complex. I wonder if he's going to start changing up his cadence too, because so far it's been pretty standard, which gives me time to actually interpret.
They on they hunt, kinda salty that I'm going hard. First part of a party that I throw in pods. 1 minute you playing pool, next minute you throwing darts. But that's how you do with a party that you throwing bars. I run the gambit like I'm throwing cards. From popular mechanics to overdosing hard. Paint cold pictures like Nova Scotia landscapes. Nerd gang, McMandelbrot sets when we handshake. A word game, backup plan.
I've never heard a rapper rap about a Mandelbrot set before. My math teacher would be so happy right now.
Escapes, nerd gang, McMandelbrot sets when we handshake. A word game, backup plan that can damn lakes back up. The word plain plan that the man states means I can still be the man if the dam breaks. And when demand breaks, some reflections what they can't face. But Pyrrha still treat the mirror like it's a fan base. The unfettered veteran, the eagle feathered man of medicine that hovers above cities like weathermen. Or maybe weather woman, whatever better to tell you weather coming. I prefer girls to rain all over the world, and not rain like Rain Man,
rain,
rain
right?
like rain dance, or rain like a slight chance of rain when it's rain, and rain like dear slaves to Santa Claus, slave man, but rain like queens that reign over made man, and not queen like queen killer, Rhapsody Bohemian queen, but queen like white glove, wave hand, and not wave hand like it's a heat.
Dude, just the back and forth on rain and rain, RAINREIGN.
Whatever better to tell you weather coming. I prefer girls to rain all over the world.
Wow.
And not rain like Rain Man, or rain like rain dance, or rain like a slight chance of rain when it's rain, and rain like dear slaves to Santa Claus, slave man, but rain like queens that reign over made man, and not queen like queen killer, Rhapsody Bohemian queen, but queen like white glove, wave hand.
Shout out Queen.
And not wave hand like it's a heat wave, so you make a fan by waving your hand. I'm talking wave like you saying hey, man. And not hate for horses, and horses like you almost voiceless. You gotta treat your voice.
You know, it's funny when you listen to like dense rap like this, because you will have so many blown moments where you recognize what greatness you're listening to, but you can only process it properly moments or maybe minutes after you heard the initial lyric. And I feel like I'm having that moment so many times now as I listen, where I'm like, I hear the line, it sounds like it makes perfect sense, like it's kind of in my subconscious waiting to be exposed, and then the light bulb moment happens. It's honestly so satisfying to listen to, and for me, I love puzzles, and songs like this almost are a lyrical form of puzzle.
Man, and not hate for horses, and horses like you almost voiceless. You gotta treat your vocal cords like it's a fortress, and treat every single one of your words like reinforcements, and especially when you're recording, cause that's the portion that's important. When I was reporting that I was poor, but now I'm more than, it's still hooker hills on my sugar hills and sweet spots. Crying shames make margarita rims from cheap tops. Deep plots and floor to ceiling windows for my pea pots. A little scene, swift as sickle swings to make the wheat drop. In 100 words for them hummingbirds that like to eavesdrop and fan out like peacocks with a parakeet that beatbox. So the sun rise when the beat drop and the sun dies when the beat stops. Then it unties, then it relocks, then it relapse, then it detox, then he back like a heat pack on his kneecaps at the weak spot, cause he want what we got, like yeah.
Also, my previous comment about the cadence being standard and just like the standard and kind of consistent throughout, throw that out the window.
Pack on his kneecaps at the weak spot, cause he want what we got, like yeah. Poetry like a young ornery Morrissey, then spit it to the golden lock thoughts who like they porridge all watery, not scorching nor sorbety from the still orbiting sorcerer sorcery coming down gorgeously, just like a Stacey Dash waterfall, a more torturing a waterboarding Barbie doll, a river of women like Brazilian carnival, swimming in feminine bikinis made out of barbasol. Somebody give them the volleyballs. If you love her, don't ever send her to Molly Mars. Homie, if she lonely, she might end up in Macaulay's claws. Coming out the closet over goblets down at Mardi Gras. The fame, champagne, walk of shame, lobby car. My rap position was black condition and activism. Ammunition for abolition missions. Attacking systems, but they not after listen. Less is dropping, no Activision. Are we apps or are we bodies filled with apparitions? Operating applications stuck inside an Apple prison. Chicken hacking, download updates that lack religion. Or are we more than soil tainting, disloyal changeling?
I mean, it's so like effort. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say effortless, but like it just feels so effortlessly creative. The way he's able to string together all of these. I don't even know if you can call them rhymes with apps and apparitions and applications and Apple and the APP. I guess alliteration scheme that's kind of like sprinkled throughout this like subverse. I am in just awe at the moment.
Updates that lack religion, or are we more than soil tainting, disloyal changelings? Preoccupied with boy and goyle, chasing and foiling others royal saintings. I sit back and watch the world through eye holes in my oil paintings. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Unless you Virgin Mary, nothing do it but to trust. Believe all that. Unless you judge, life is not a dictionary, it's a thesaurus. And I feel like a missionary to a clitoris, the water bearer air of traditions that I swear to never change my chair position or conditions of my porridge. Submission for sedition against the religion of a chorus. Keep them golden weed thieves out the motherfucking forest. As I perform a nerd storm, I prefer my pictures in word form. Bury the hatchet like how a bird born. As I paint cold pictures like Kool-Aid face and condensation, having conversations with flavorful combinations, slave to my concentration. So that's OJ the juice man meets OJ with two hands and two gloves. That's too snug to judge who was who drew blood. And Lupe, look at all these toucans in a cemetery full of tomahawks, giving middle fingers to the pigeons doing somersaults. Road runners don't fall off cliffs, they run across anomalies by the colony, flukes by the reservoir. While in pursuers end up as poofs on the desert floor. Levitating youths who know the truth of where the fountain hides. Buckaroo roofs painting tunnels onto the mountainsides. 1,000.
I mean, like, I'm sure this is like a bit of confirmation bias here, but like, he can paint a picture with his words. A mural is almost like an understatement here. Of course, the song is titled Mural, but it is so vivid. Every single verse, I can see the images that he's putting in my mind, and then the concepts that are above the abstract of it all. This is the kind of song that like takes... And I guarantee you I said this before with the other Lupe tracks, but this is the kind of song that takes multiple listens through to even get to like a halfway point of true appreciation for all that's there. And I don't even think you'll ever fully get there. We can only hope to achieve. I think it's the effort that counts, right?
Youths who know the truth of where the fountain hides. Buckaroo roofs painting tunnels onto the mountainsides. 1,000 parts a pound, a heart, an ounce of eyes, announcing out a doubt, and mouth pronounces out accounts of lies. Chocolate counts by the counts of 5. Refrigerator roof full of animals and monsters. Incinerator shoots in the manual for Contra. Assorted memories from my childhood. Absorbing energy from the wild woods. Electronic combat, Konami signed contract. Chinese chalk killing cucarachas on contact. Chicago, spread gun aficionado. Efficient spitting, bridging divisions isn't Chicano. Who's the boss? If it isn't Lisa Milano. Do the cough, ninja mission into the Congo. Polarized envy of the older guys. Black Obi Shinobi hitting Keno in the face with all my throwing knives. Sub-Zero guiding, hiding, riding in the pack as well. Sound Village, Leaf Village, Wolf Spirit, magic spells, yeah! Dodging rain and catching hell. Face seers need samurais to catch the L. Special research vessels made for catching whales. Fillet of fish, ship, sea shepherd, peppered with extra sails. Rewrite history, liberty needs a better bell. Maybe harder irons and carbon fibers that never fail. Smarter science mixed with our art alliance, a fairy tale. Or maybe just a metal pail you hit with steel tools. To announce you've had enough and dropping out of SEAL school. Just like trout jumping out they house to let their gills cool. Cuba scuba couldn't take the temperature of my skill pool, yeah. Said it feels cool to kill fools. Slipping through the cracks like when you try to grill gruel. Techno Viking water bottle when not following pill rules. Or have you off the throttle when you should be modeling chill mood. Roller skate maker, or you just cobbling wheel shoes. Overweight taster of king's food that kills crews. Oblivious featherweight baker who autograph cakes whenever his quill moves over your milieu. Simple as a Buddhist monk in the temple, standing in some hill grooves with the abbot, practicing stillness. Real still till he realizes realness. Defeats samsara, achieves nirvana and brilliance. Yeah.
Oh, brother. I mean, it's so good. It is so complex. I was even trying to like think about it from a higher level than just like line by line what each even subverse or verse was trying to get at, because it, like, I don't know at what level I understand this song. There's so much to go into. I feel like just the deep analysis here is going to give us a better direction, so I'm not going to pretend like I understand what all of this was at a very high level. It does feel like there is, and this is going to be the most like banal comment, but like something at a very high level about Lupe and his place in the music industry relative to his peers and other artists that inhabit this world. So we'll see how that all how that all comes together. But I mean, man, this is so multifaceted. Every part of this song, it's like Lupe's developing a new skill set, whether it's lyrical, whether it's through alliteration, whether it's actually through the knowledge bombs that he's dropping. I mean, there's so much wisdom in these lyrics too. So, I mean, let's just start at the top, and this is going to take its time. So, you know, feel free to, you know, pause this video, grab a drink if you want to sit with me through this. We're gonna ride this wave together. So we start. And also, by the way, I'll caveat this by saying, as we go through these lyrics one by one, it is not going to be contextually the same as when Lupe himself is rapping them in the context of everything else. I won't have all of those little nuances in his delivery, so hopefully I can get most of it through reading, but yeah, a lot of caveats here. Let's jump in. We're all chemicals, vitamins and minerals, Vicodin with inner tubes wrapped around the arm. To see the vein like a chicken on the barn, top cat chat, let's begin another yarn. So right away we start with this, you know, I just gonna repeat the words here, chemical mineral kind of scheme, talking about the drugs, the chemicals that we inject using tubes in our arm, Vicodin being one of them. To see the vein like a chicken, so the chicken vein. Then we switch over to the cat, and then the cat has the yarn. There we have the flying saucer, so that's flying saucer cheese, or is it chicken parm? Oh my god, it is all so neatly threaded together, because saucers are for cats, chickens, cheese is all very farm related, then the chicken parm. But roosters don't fly like boosters don't buy. You could either be talking here about vaccinations, or I was thinking like boosters like for college sports, for example, but I think I will go with the former rather than the latter. Interesting. So boosters don't like to buy, boosters like to sell. Is that the is that the intuition? I'm not sure. So what powers cowards to get them to the top, just to fall asleep listening to Bach? So questioning, why do people who are cowards in one way or another, chicken, right? Cowards chicken, to get them to the top just to fall asleep listening to Bach. Why do they do this? Why are they feigning intellect? Why are they feigning class almost? The ribbon in the sky is the ribbon that I drop. And the ribbon in the sky I almost thought of as like a flag, or potentially a formation in the clouds. But then he says is the ribbon that I drop. So maybe if it is a flag, that it implies that one is humbling the flag, humbling one's nationalism, but that would probably be a over analysis. Dribbling the eye across the prism of a clock. Dribbling the eye across the prism of a clock. dribbling like a ball of basketball across the prism of a clock. And that's an interesting way to word that too. Okay, that lacks meaning but racks up stacks of fat reading. Interesting. So there's like this like tension, it feels like, between like there being substance and then not really having substance at all. Lacks meaning but racks up stacks of fat reading. So very verbose but not really saying much. They catch chief and wrapped up plants from trap dealings. So I think chief is like a euphemism for marijuana, and they catch chief, or maybe Chief Keef. That is going to be, I'm going to plead the fifth. And wrapped up plans from trap dealings. Let's keep going. I hope you guys appreciate my effort here. Now it's a coffin with a scratched ceiling, so implying the person is alive. And what's the talking without the match feeling? Talking without the match, right? So when we talk, it's all words, but if you're actually going to put your money where your mouth is, if you're actually going to, go to war, then the talk doesn't actually matter at all. As buried living and cherry picking every linen from your berry system. So buried living referencing the coffin, the scratched ceiling, cherry picking like in a conversation or debate, you're cherry picking facts to suit your narrative rather than actually looking at the grander tapestry for what it is and being intellectually honest. Every linen from your berry system. This is not something I'm familiar with. Does that mean something? I'm not sure. Then proceed with pack feeding. So like that to me immediately screams like groupthink, the sheeple. When I was young, I had visions of another world. Lupe is the person I believe that when they say that, because oh my god, this guy thinks in different languages, and I'm not talking just this not being English. This is literally English, but it's another language past what most of us understand. Sneaking looks at the porn stash of my brother Hurl. I was thinking like this could be a double here, like porn stash, like the actual mustache versus like the actual cache, the set of magazines in the like underneath the bed. Incense smoke made vortices and other curls. So yeah, the actual just like form the movement of the smoke. Then casting calls from porn films and ad space for rubber girls. So I know in the adult industry, they have casting calls and the ad space that's used to like, I guess, like attract people in on websites or I guess in newspapers back in the day potentially. But any kind of ad space really. For rubber girls, so I think referencing rubber condom. But also rubber girl meaning almost like it's almost sort of like a dehumanization of the girl rather than being made of flesh and bone. I like my pancakes cut in swirls. And it's just funny, this like back to back, how we go from like almost like the seriousness here back to I like my pancakes cut in swirls. Also kind of referencing again these vortices. Moroccan moles and undercover squirrels. Right? Moles and undercover squirrels. Because a mole is what? Somebody who like infiltrates some operation. Kind of like in what's that movie? It's with Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio, someone. The Departed. There we go. I like cartoons, southern cities with large moons. It's interesting too. I feel like there's an every other line thing kind of happening. So we almost have like two schemes going on through any one of these verses. Sort of like the porn here, the casting calls here. If we do that, maybe we can trace it all the way through. Or maybe it does kind of alternate. So we can chunk these like this maybe. I'm not going to overthink that either. But let's read this. I like cartoons, southern cities with large moons, faith healers, ex-female drug dealers, and art booms. Apologize for my weird mix. What taste like hot dogs and teardrops. When I heard this line, I was thinking like, man, it's not a weird mix at all. This mix actually is probably the most like digestible thing out of everything we're hearing thus far. Taste like hot dogs and teardrops. It's an interesting combo too. Crying and hot dogs. Maybe referencing like the sadness one may experience during 4th of July, like to like tie it all back into the nationalism we potentially had from before. But again, it's all a simulacrum of a simulacrum. It's not actually something I would bet my life on as to what this is referring to. And looks like pantomime and clear bricks. It smells like shotguns and deer piss. Bro, this is going to be... Oh my god, I may not even be like 15% of the way through this, and we are hardcore struggling. Smells like shotguns and deer piss. I think I'm imagining the South. And I think we had that reference before. Southern cities with large moons. They on their hunt, kind of salty that I'm going hard. First part of a party that I throw in parts. First part of a party that I throw in parts. So you're throwing the party in parts. Interesting. I'm thinking like political party too. Maybe that's part of this, but I'm not sure. They I think may be referring to people of the South. And they're salty that I'm going hard. I don't know why there would be that baked in disagreement, but maybe we'll get more context here. First part of a party that I throw in parts. 1 minute you playing pool, next minute you throwing darts. Seems very reasonable to switch from those two activities. But that's how you do with a party that you throw in bars. Okay. The setting is clear. I run the gambit like I'm throwing cards, from popular mechanics to overdosing hearts. Popular mechanics to overdosing hearts. I feel like mechanics does not strictly refer to like mechanics working on cards. Mechanics meaning like the inner workings of something. Or like card mechanics. I think that's also a term where basically these people are able to completely manipulate the deck exactly the way they want it. So if they're dealing a hand of Texas Hold'em poker, they'll be able to give every single player on the table the exact pair of cards that they would like. And then, of course, they'll know what they're drawing and they'll have a perfect strategy. To overdosing hearts. I guess maybe back again to a bit of the drug scheme from before. Paint cold pictures like Nova Scotia landscapes. Nerd game make Mandelbrot sets when we handshake. For those of you who don't know Mandelbrot sets, these are some of the coolest pictures. These are basically just fractals of a certain kind. I still honestly like need to spend time just like coding fractals myself so that I can see mechanically how these things are constructed. But I mean, they're endlessly beautiful and always for me on the channel remind me of the Grateful Dead. So we have this like cold picture, Nova Scotia being in Canada, colder climate. Nerd game make Mandelbrot sets when we handshake. It's interesting. That's a crazy kind of handshake. A word game backup plan that can dam lakes. Back up the wordplay playing at the man's states. Mean I can still be the man if the dam breaks. And when the man breaks, I'm reflectious what they can't face. Oh, dude, my brain, I don't know why Siri's trying to talk to me. My brain, it's on fire and slowing down all at the same time. It's like the context here that I feel like we're kind of reading through all is taking place at a party. There's various games being played. The vibe is set. There's dealings happening. And he's standing on business, is what it seems. Not my camera, though. Me and I can still be the man at the dam breaks, and when the man breaks, I'm reflectious, what they can't face. The mirror, right? And then the punchline, the mirror after. They can't face themselves in the mirror. What a crazy creative way to convey that, because I've heard that line given in many other songs, right? Not being able to look in the mirror, but the roundabout intellectual way we got there. My peers will still treat the mirror, so that's the punchline afterwards, like it's a fan base. So my peers, so those who are around me in my circle, in my line of work, they still treat the mirror like it's a fan base. So they look at themselves as the fans, and maybe not fans of themselves, but of me. The unfettered veteran, the eagle-feathered man of medicine, that hovers above cities like weathermen and maybe weatherwoman, whatever better to tell you weather comin'. I prefer girls to reign all over the world. I think here is when the switch happens to this other weather scheme, right? So the unfettered veteran, the eagle-feathered man of medicine. The eagle-feathered man of medicine. What does that mean? Eagle-feathered? I guess that has to do with like the not witch doctors, but the those like plague doctors from the medieval ages. I want to say that they, in addition to having like the beak and the glasses and the top hat, they have feathers on their cloaks. I could be mistaken there. But that hover above cities like weathermen. So the eagle-feathered man of medicine are hovering above cities, almost like vultures, is sort of the way it's being described, which is interesting. But like weathermen, they're meteorologists. They're trying to predict the future of weather in that given region. Maybe weatherwoman, whatever better to tell you weather coming. I prefer girls to reign all over the world. Yeah, so the scheme changes here. But this rain scheme, this was like the thing that blew my mind, like in a very obvious way. I could very quickly see what was going on. And not like rain, Rain Man, or rain like rain dance, or rain like a slight chance of rain when it's raining. You can see all of the ways in which it's being utilized and reutilized and repurposed. See, and not rain like Rain Man, like a Rain Man type, I believe refers to the movie. Somebody who's very, I think the movie, because I haven't seen it, has to do with this person being extremely either lucky at gambling or has like a strategy. Or rain like rain dance. So the rain dance is meant to help induce rain, but we don't know. There's a chance, if there's a 1-to-1 correlation with the rain dance and rain, then everybody would be doing it if they needed rain. But clearly there's a ritual that doesn't always land and produce rain. But then, or rain like a slight chance of rain when it's raining. Because when it's raining, it's already there. So the rain, what? God, I am losing my mind. This is so hard. Mateus, man. Or rain like a slight chance of rain when it's raining. Rain like a slight chance of rain when it's raining. Because not like rain, Rain Man, or rain like rain dance, or rain like a... Okay, so it's like all of the ways in which this version of rain, like ruling over the world, is not these other kinds of rain. I mean, at a higher level, that's what that means. But this second line here is a little bit ambiguous in terms of how I take it. Because I was thinking it was about the idea that, like, it's the experience of rain when there is a minimal chance for rain to occur, and then it's like, oh, you got gifted, and that feels great. Or rain like dear slaves to Santa Claus sleigh man. But rain like queens that reign over maid man. and not queen like Queen Killer, Rhapsody, Bohemian, Queen, but queen like white glove, wave hand. That is cool. I mean, I just love all of the references to. I think that's one of the most demanding parts of trying to unpack so much of Lupe's lyrics is all of the references he's making. Because you have Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, the Queen Killer. Now you have the actual literal queen with a white glove. And not wave hand like it's a heat wave. So you make a fan by waving your hand. I'm talking wave like you saying hey. Man, and not hey. It's just like all of the doubles here. But he's like just stringing them along back to back. Man and not hey for horses, and horse like you almost voiceless. You got to treat your vocal cords like it's a fortress. Right? So protecting your voice, not saying too much, not putting yourself out there past what you're capable of doing. Interestingly, that's also something I consider when I do videos and reactions, because if you end up speaking a lot of the video, at the end of the day, you kind of lose your voice. It's important to, I'm saying this to myself, but maybe helpful to you guys, important to speak less and maybe let your voice rest when it can. And treat every single one of your words like reinforcements. So words as soldiers. Wow, I love that. And soldiers in this context aren't storming the castle. They are there to protect the castle, this fortress. And especially when you're recording, because that's the portion that's important. Yeah. So I think this is where he's been talking about his peers throughout, but because he's directly having the meta conversation about the wordplay, is where I feel like he's definitely talking about his time in the studio and how he ought to spend it, how he should spend his words. When I was, and especially when you're recording, because that's the portion that's important. When I was reporting that I was poor, but now I'm more than. So like a lot of people who came from lack of means, they rap and sing about how now they've made it, but you started, at the bottom and now you're here, that kind of thing. It's still hooker heels on my sugar hills and sweet spots. I guess the venues in which prostitutes are spending their time. I'm not sure what this refers to. Crying shames make margarita rims from cheap tops. Deep plots and floor, the ceiling windows for my peep pots. Deep plots and floor, the ceiling windows for my peep pots. This one fully escapes me. This is probably where I lose it a little bit, if I haven't already lost it. A little scene with the sickle swings to make the wheat drop. Okay, so that I can imagine that in the farm, in the field. And 100 words for them hummingbirds that like to eavesdrop. Wow, that's just such a cool way to convey that idea of these people. They talk so much, they gossip endlessly at such high velocity, being hummingbirds and all. And they're the ones listening, right? They're very keen on knowing what the drama is. Otherwise, they'll have nothing to speak about. Or in a different case, they may fabricate things, but still, this is their archetype. And fan out like peacocks with a parakeet that beatbox. I love it. I love all of the birds here being used. Because the peacocks, they look all beautiful and make themselves huge, and everybody look at me. And the parakeet that beatboxes. So the parakeets themselves, they are going to make a lot of repetitive noises, just kind of mimicking what they hear. So the sunrise when the beat drops. And I love how it's all related to music now. I mean, not that it wasn't before, but this is a very clear reference again to the beat dropping. The sun dies when the beat stops. Then it unties, then it relocks. The cycle, right, of the sun and its movement and how we experience it. It unties and then it relocks. There's a rise and a fall. Then it relapsed. Then it detoxed, bringing back the drug and the drug scheme. Then heat back like a heat pack on his kneecaps of the weak spot, cause he want what we got. Like, yeah, on his kneecaps of the weak spot, cause he want what we got. Bro, how much more do we have here? We have a ways to go. Let's keep going. Then forge poetry like a young honorary Morrissey. I need to look up what this means. Oh, it doesn't mean anything. It's a person. Stephen Patrick Morrissey, known as Morrissey, is an English singer-songwriter and frontman of the 80s new wave band The Smiths. Okay. I've heard about The Smiths. I don't think I've listened to them on the channel yet. Forge poetry like a young honorary Morrissey. So then the implication here is he was stealing some of his lyrics. Then spit it to the golden locks thoughts. Golden locks thoughts, who like their porridge all watery. Okay, so I think golden locks thoughts refers to like basically just like blonde bibbos would be my quick analysis there. So then you have the golden locks, Goldilocks theme related to the porridge, and the porridge being watery and lacking of actual substance, so there's no reason to enjoy eating it, but they do anyways. Not scorching nor sorbitty. I need to look this up too. Sorbitty. Oh my gosh, why is Google doing this? Maybe that was a typo. Sobriety. I'm not sure here. Not scorching, nor sorbitty. From the steel orbitings, sorcery. Coming down gorgeously, just like a Stacy Dash waterfall. Oh my god, it's so hard to understand sometimes. Coming down gorgeously, like just like a Stacy Dash. I guess I need to look Stacy Dash up here. Okay, a lot of references to other celebrities that I'm unaware of. Okay. So gorgeously. I mean, yeah, she's a gorgeous woman. A more torturing, a waterboarding Barbie doll. A river of women like Brazilian carnival. Swimming in feminine bikinis made out of barbasol. Somebody give them the volleyballs. If you love her, don't ever send her to Molly Malls. Homie, if she's lonely, she might end up in Macaulay's claws. Like Macaulay Culkin? Thomas Babington Macaulay. In India, known as Macaulayism, or a variety of technical and mathematical... You know, sometimes when I look these things up, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to get the correct answer. So I don't want to find something that isn't correct and take it a different way. I mean, the scheme is true. It's just like all very consistent about women here. Beautiful women, what you want to do with your girl. Don't send her to a certain place. Coming out the closet over goblets down at Mardi Gras. The fame, champagne, walk of shame, lobby call. The reposition was black condition of activism, ammunition for abolition, missions attacking systems, but they not after listens unless it's dropping on Activision. When did this song come out? I need that context. Give me a second here. Lupe Fiasco Mural release date. 2015. Okay, so I'm going to try to apply some of whatever modern knowledge I may have that could apply here. Because when I think of Activision here, it would be with a capital A, the video game company. Coming out the closet over goblets down at Mardi Gras. The fame, champagne, walk of shame, lobby call. My reposition was black condition of activism. Ammunition for abolition. Thinking about like the abolitionists. Missions attacking systems. So that is a very apt description there. Missions attacking systems. But they not after listens unless it's dropping on Activision. Like activists, but Activision. Because listening and then seeing vision. Oh. Are we, and then I remember this scheme here. Are we apps or are we bodies filled with apparitions? Are we apps or are we bodies filled with apparitions, right? The ghosts. Are we just applications or ghosts? That's the dichotomy. Operating applications stuck inside an Apple prison, which, Apple the company. Chicken hack and download updates that lack religion. Chicken hack. Coward hack, like hack being like a fraud. And chicken. I wonder if this specific chicken here is referring to something, because I know earlier we mentioned a lot of, I think at the very beginning of the song, mentioned a lot about chickens and cowards and roosters, boosters. I mean, this to me at a very high level is getting at the idea that like we are not necessarily in control of what we're thinking, what we're doing, why we're doing those things. There's this whole idea about, like, let's say if you're trying to learn something and you're able to learn it just like from a textbook or whatever. Yes, you may have learned that something from the textbook, but did you really reformulate the way your brain works to anticipate whether that information is correct or not in the first place? And the way to assess whether that may or may not be the case is to deep dive on your own metacognition. So it's not only an analysis of what you do at the surface level and figure out the facts from the fiction. It's then looking at your own processes for understanding whatever and updating it, and looking at your own operating system and saying, hey, something about this is leading me to a lot of inconsistent conclusions or things that won't allow me to reconcile all of the cognitive dissonance that I feel emotionally and intellectually or spiritually, whatever. I think it's very, just like as an aside, it's a very important thing for all of us to learn more about ourselves and the way we think and the way we learn, so that those systems cannot be hijacked by, apps, applications, Apple, apparitions, whatever. Or are we more than soil tainting, disloyal changelings, preoccupied with boy and goyle chasing, and foiling others' royal saintings? This word I need to look up. Saintings is not a standard English word, but if likely refers to sainting, which is the act of honoring, formally naming, or revering someone as a saint. So this to me is almost like so many people spend their time like almost like idol worshiping and looking at others' lives, celebrities, namely, and not realizing necessarily that you're wasting your own time focusing on somebody else, when in reality these people are just as human as we are, all capable of making mistakes. I mean, it's better not to be preoccupied with those things in my estimation. I sit back and watch the world through the eye holes in my oil paintings. So I created these oil paintings, and within them are eye holes that seek to what? Look out of the painting or into it? I don't know how much of these songs are like meant to have like as clear cut of like meanings from line to line, or if a lot of it can be left up to ambiguity. But if it is like all meant to have like literal meaning, or at least more clear cut interpretation, that is so impressive, because I feel like so many of these lyrics can also be taken ambiguously, case by case, but point still stands. So ain't nothing to it but to do it. Unless you Virgin Mary, nothing do it but the truest. Believe all that unless you Jewish. Life is not a dictionary, it's a thesaurus. That's interesting to think about right there, just like full stop. Life is not a dictionary, it is not something we can like easily compartmentalize and just like completely define and rule out. It's a thesaurus, meaning that we're constantly finding ways to relate the things that we understand to other things that we understand, right? That is an interesting way to look at it. Because everything is another version of a different thing, you know? And I feel like a missionary to a clitoris, that's interesting. You know, you can imagine the visual, right, of the position. The water bearer, heir of traditions that I swear to never change. The water bearer, heir of traditions that I swear to never change. My chair position or conditions of my porridge. Submission for sedition against the religion of a chorus. Keep the golden weave thieves out the motherfucking forest. I honestly, because there's so much like religious symbolism throughout this verse, I want to toss this all into ChatGPT and just see what it gives me, because I am just curious now. Let's ask ChatGPT. Hope that's okay with you guys. I know there's a whole contingent of people against using AI. Briefly tell me what you think this means from Lupe Fiasco. I just copied and pasted all of that in there. Here's a concise, plain English interpretation of what Lupe is doing here. Lupe is questioning what humans have become. Are we noble or are we corrupt beings? Okay. Distracted by shallow desires, like boy and girl chasing and sabotaging each other's greatness, he watches society from a distance like an artist observing the world through his work, like eye holes in my oil paintings. Nothing to... he now is just breaking it down line by line here. In short, he's critiquing society's shallowness, declaring himself as an observer and a rebel, and vowing to protect art and culture from corruption. Lupe flexing intellect, wordplay, and philosophy and anti-industry sentiment all at once. Oh. As I perform a nerve storm, I prefer my pictures in word form. Bury the hatchet like how a bird born. Bury the hatchet like how a bird born. I don't quite get the bird born part of that, because when I think of bury the hatchet, it's like putting aside misgivings, right? Let's, reconcile and make up. And that's amazing too, because if you think about like just the high level of the song Mural, I prefer my pictures in word form. He is literally painting pictures in word form. He is quite easily. And actually, I know Mateus, in your reaction info, you mentioned something about that. I think you wrote that pretty beautifully. You wrote, a true artist, a master of lyrics who appeared on your channel a while ago. This time is his track Mural from the album Tetsuo and Youth. The lyrics and message of this track are so powerful and clear that we can almost see them. There you go. Like the titular graffiti mural painted on an endless wall by a lyrical master who paints with words. You, my friend, are also a bit of a wordsmith yourself. As I paint cold pictures like Kool-Aid facing condensation. Also the painting cold pictures, right? We got that earlier from the Nova Scotia line. Having conversations with flavorful combinations, slave to my concentration. Oof. And I love that, like Kool-Aid facing, you get the flavorful combinations, those go together, but then also the painting with words and then having conversations going together. Enslaved to my concentration. And then it's not only like concentration of focus, but also concentration of the percentage of sugar in the juice. And then you have the OJ scheme here. OJ the Juice Man meets OJ with 2 hands and 2 gloves. That's too snug, right? The whole glove fiasco going on there too. To the judge who drew blood, implying that the judge who gave the verdict on the case, or gave the judgment on the case rather, also being culpable. I mean, there's so much, like, that's why, like, I can't claim to say I know everything that's going on, because some of these moments in history or just in his own repertoire of knowledge are past what I'm capable of right now. Oh, what did I do? I did something. I'm losing my place. Let's keep going. And Lupe, look at all these toucans in a cemetery full of tomahawks. The toucans, right, with the rainbow-colored beaks in a cemetery full of tomahawks. And this is another kind of bird, I assume? Tomahawk missiles? Oh, axes, hatchets, bury the hatchet from earlier? Maybe. Giving middle fingers to the pigeons doing somersaults. Road runners don't fall off cliffs, they run across. Anomalies by the colonies, flukes by the reservoir. Anomalies by the colonies, flukes by the reservoir. Wilden pursuers end up as poofs on the desert floor. Levitating youth, so know the truth of where the fountain hides, like Fountain of Youth. Bukhara roof painting tunnels onto the mountain sides. Let's look up Bukhara. Is the capital and largest city of the Department of Santander, Colombia. 1,000 parts of a pound of heart, an ounce of eyes. Announcing now the doubt in mouth pronounces account of lies. Where am I getting lost? Let me think. 1,000 parts of a pound of heart and an ounce of eyes, right? Like the actual literal weight of one's organs. Announcing now the doubt in mouth pronounces account of lies. The doubt in mouth. So the uncertainty that one speaks about pronounces account of lies, like recounting the various lies spoken. And then you have the Count, like Count Chocula, Count Dracula. Think of Sesame Street. Chocula counts by the counts of 5, refrigerators, roof full of animals, and is it gonna show me? Animals and monsters. Incinerated shoes and the manual for Contra. Assorted memories from my childhood. Oh my gosh, it's so challenging. Incinerated shoes and the manual for Contra. Contra I have to look up as well. Contra definition. Against, opposite, contrasting. Or contra, like contralto, right? Assorted memories from my childhood, absorbing energy from the wild woods. Electronic combat, Konami sign contract. Chinese char killing cucarachas on contact. I mean, I remember all the C alliteration going on here, even the C and the K in electronic. So you end the word with the C and then begin the new with another C and then sign contract, and it just builds and builds. Chicago spread an aficionado. I think a lot of the context for this too is something that is just something that I don't have ready access to quite yet. I think I have to increase my own knowledge base here. I mean, but that's like the trippy part about Lupe and his music is just you have to have such quick wit, but also the depth of knowledge to even tackle all of the subject matter. Like he could just deep dive on one difficult subject and like that would have us running in circles trying to figure it all out. There's so much in all of this. It is mind-boggling. Efficient spitting, bridging divisions is in Chicano. Who's the boss if it isn't Alyssa Milano? I'm enjoying looking up all these people, but I don't know if it's going to help me all that much. Dudikoff ninja mission into the Congo. Polarized envy of the older guys. Black Obi, Shinobi, hitting Keno in the face with all my throwing knives. Shinobi. Where do I know that name? I was almost thinking like Obi-Wan. Black Obi, Shinobi. But then Keno throws it off for me. But maybe, okay, Sub-Zero then makes me think it's like Mortal Kombat related. So Sub-Zero guiding, hiding, riding in the pack as well. Sound Village, Leaf Village, Wolf Spirit, magic spells. Dodging rain and catching hail. Faces need samurais to catch the eye. Special research vessels made for catching whales. Fillet of fish. Ships sea shepherded, peppered with extra sails. Bro. I don't even know, because this all is like samurai related bars. Even from here, Combat Konami. But then the C alliteration, then we had more of like the samurais and ninjas. Oh man. Rewrite history. Liberty needs a better bell. Maybe hotter irons and carbon fibers that never fail. I mean, this line like alone to me is like a super mic drop kind of a line. Though, of course, it needs all of the supporting context to really give it that extra oomph, but Liberty needs a better bell. I just like that. Because we think of the Liberty Bell as like a symbol of America and its great history, but how great is it when there's so much that has gone wrong? But then again, maybe hotter irons that won't fail. That'll bring us to the next level. Smarter science mixed with an odd alliance of fairy tale. Or maybe just a metal pail that you hit with the steel tools to announce that you've had enough and dropping out of SEAL school. SEAL school? Where does that come from? Just like trout jumping out the house to let their gills cool, Cuba scuba couldn't take the temperature of my skill pool. I said it feels cool. It feels cool to kill fools, slipping through the cracks like when you're trying to grill gruel. Take no Viking water bottle and not following pill rules. Will have you off the throttle when you should be modeling chill like at this point I'm just reading the lyrics off to you guys. Roller skater maker, or are you just cobbling wheel shoes? Overweight taster of king's food that kills crews. Oblivious featherweight baker who autographed cake. Like I can visualize all of this. I wish there was a way I could do this on my videos where as I'm reading lyrics or as I'm like just enjoying the music, you could see a visual of like the neurons in my brain attempting to fire, or if what I'm visualizing mentally can be depicted visually for you. Maybe we need like the Neuralink technologies to develop faster for all that stuff, but yeah, let's not get into that topic. Whenever his quill moves over your meal, you simple as a Buddhist monk in a temple. Standing in some heel groove with the abbot practicing stillness, real still till he realizes his realness. Defeat samsara, achieves nirvana and brilliance. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say here. I attempted this song. I'm looking up now on Google. Mural Lupe Fiasco meaning. Because there's no way. There's just no way. I'm fine to say that I couldn't get this song at the level that I normally feel like I can. This one just... it's too far above my pay grade, man. I tried. Let's see what we got. AI overview says Lupe Fiasco song Mural is a complex Yeah, you can say that again. Lyrical masterpiece that uses the metaphor of a painter creating a mural to explore themes of artistic integrity, social commentary, and lyrical prowess. I guess I should have said that, but throughout all of the lyrics, there was constant re-referencing to painting, painting, whatever, in any environment, any kind of visual masterpiece depicted auditorily or just using the craftsmanship in his words. Then it goes on to write, the title refers to how Fiasco paints a picture with words over the song's lengthy runtime, creating a work of art that is meant to be dissected and appreciated for its depth. He critiques watered-down music and the commercialization of rap, positions himself as a skilled artist creating meaningful work, and uses intricate wordplay and layered metaphors that reveal more with each listen. I mean, yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. I think I even echoed some of those sentiments throughout the, oh my god, hour and 5 minutes that we've been together at this point. Definitely. It's going to require so many re-listens, and it's not even possible to get it, I would say, after 10 listens. There's just no possible way. And of course, like, sometimes I feel like lyrics like this often... okay, let me rephrase. I feel like it could be possible for people to take this kind of work and feel like it's very braggadocious in its approach to, like, his intellect and his ability in conveying all of these concepts in such a difficult to unpack way. And people could think like, oh, Lupe is, kind of holier than thou, pontificating endlessly and making things more complicated than they ought to be. And he could opt for more brevity or Occam's razor approach to songwriting and lyricism. But that in itself, that critique defies the entire purpose of a song like this and the message it tries to convey, because it is about its depth. If, for whatever reason, the musical world is filled with a lot of very shallow kind of substance, and we even brought that kind of concept up earlier in the analysis, if there is a lot of shallowness, then people who enjoy that shallowness are going to stay in that place and won't push the needle in any meaningful way. Lupe does the exact opposite. He throws everything and the kitchen sink at his song, and it's like a dissertation is what we just listened to. I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction today for what it was. I did my best here to analyze these lyrics, but that's all I have for you. If you guys want to request a reaction yourself, you can do so by clicking the first link in the description box below. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.